Hey, good morning. It's Mark here. Another morning rant. It's 5 o'clock. I got up around 3 something. I don't know. Look, real quick. I know I always say that. I've been watching. Of course, I've been watching the news, like getting some information, just going over the news. And of course, we know that Donald Trump was just turned down by a federal court judge, denying him executive privilege. In her statement, let me see if I can get her name. Tanya Chunkin, U.S. District Judge Tanya Chunkin, cited Supreme Court precedent as she ruled against Trump's effort to obtain an injunction to stop the National Archives from releasing records sought by the U.S. House of Representatives Select Committee investigating January 6th. She noted the unprecedented legal situation. A former president asserts executive privilege over records for which the sitting president has refused to assert executive privilege. Let's see. The Supreme Court has already made clear that in such circumstances that incumbents' records is accorded greater. The incumbents' view is accorded greater weight, which means President Joe Biden has executive privilege. Donald Trump doesn't. Chunkin brushed away Trump's argument that he retains control of the privilege, declaring presidents are not kings and the plaintiff is not president. He retains the right to assert that his records are privileged, but the incumbent president is not constitutionally obliged to honor that assertion. It has been a long established tradition that presidents, no matter the party, will protect the presidency, meaning there's a president's club, so to speak, unwritten president's club, and no matter what. So let's say Obama could have investigated, or he could have released records of Bush and his claims of weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Did they actually lie to the American people? George W. Bush could have released some records involving Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton, and a lot of other things. Like what they will not do is they will not go after. And this is another long-standing tradition. Also, we may assume that a president is criminal. We may assume that they've done some criminal, illegal things. But when another president comes in, they will, hey, we're gonna move on from that. We're not gonna prosecute the last administration, because if you do that, then they'll keep prosecuting each other. Well, I'm a Democrat, I'm going to prosecute this Republican. And then when I leave office and the Republican takes over, he's going to prosecute me. It's just going to go on and on and on. So presidents kind of shy away from prosecuting each other, because the country has to move forward. We got to get past that. The country has to move forward. Unless there's some extenuating circumstances that just the president cannot avoid, i.e. Donald Trump and Richard Nixon. The reason why Richard Nixon got that pardon from his vice president is because the vice president wanted to move on, and he didn't want his legacy to be tied to Nixon, even though he was Nixon's vice president. He did not want his presidency tied to the prosecution of his predecessor. So let me just issue a pardon, get this over with, let's move on. But even when Nixon tried to hide those tapes that he had, they came out with, he was ruled against by the Supreme Court that those tapes that he had in his office were not his tapes. They belonged to the American people. So released those tapes. And before he released those tapes, he deleted like 7.5 minutes of conversation. So those are lost to history. We don't know what happened in those minutes because he deleted it before he turned it in. And right after he lost that Supreme Court case, he resigned because he knew he was in trouble. Everything Trump administration did, phone calls, records, emails, notes, handwritten notes, whatever, It's all turned over to the National Archives and it's preserved. I'm not saying Trump is guilty. I'm not saying Trump is innocent. All I'm saying is whatever he had in those records, is he trying to keep it hidden just for his sake? Is he trying to keep it hidden for maybe he done something illegal? I don't know. We won't know until we actually see what's in those documents. But what is known is that they had a meeting. Excuse me. They had a meeting which Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think she was there. Like, they had a meeting where they discussed the January 6th rally on the 5th. Now, did they discuss breaching the Capitol? Who knows? No, I'm not asserting that. I'm just saying, if you're innocent and you have nothing to hide, then why are you hiding stuff? It goes back to Donald Trump and the Russia investigation. It was determined that Trump did not collude with Russia, but the fact remains that he tried to obstruct justice and getting to the truth of Russia helping him, or quote unquote helping him with his election. And did he do anything to stop it or prevent it or anything? He even admitted in an interview that if Norway gave him some damaging information about an opponent, do I just get on the phone and call the FBI? Of course not. Let me look and see what this information is. This unlike what what's that cannot remember his name, 2004's Democrat nominee, his face is in my head but I can't remember his name. He got the playbook for the Republicans, and what did he do? He turned it over to the FBI. Trump wouldn't do that. Trump would look at the information. So he lost his right to executive privilege, because what he's still trying to say is he's still asserting that he's president. And that's true. He's the 45th president of the United States. But we're on the 46th. So you are a former president. You will always be considered a former president. Barack Obama is still the 44th president of the United States. But he's former. He no longer has any power over the office. He has to request access to the White House. He can't just go walking in. He can get on a plane and it's not called Air Force One. Trump is trying to say that he's still president and that he still deserves that privilege. And court precedent, Supreme Court precedent, and this judge is saying you are not a king. You are a president, and then on top of that, you are a former president, and you have no rights to executive privilege. And I will submit to you this: a lot of court cases, going as far back as George Washington, a lot of presidents have lost the executive privilege argument. I tried to write a thesis on it, but they lost. It was too. I couldn't prove executive privilege because they lost so many damn times. A lot of the things that the president does is not considered privileged because he's a public figure. He belongs to the federal government. He belongs to the American people. His or her life is no longer private. It sucks, but that's the facts. You belong to us. We pay your salary. So now what can be done is, okay, let's say there's some controversy that happens in the Biden administration to where he exerts executive privilege. And when a new president comes in that's Republican, they say, hey, if the House or the Senate, which is Republican, if they want to investigate this, I'm not going to exert executive privilege. So now Biden is in a bind here because he's denying executive privilege over Trump's records. So is he not protecting the presidency when he does that? I talked about this before. It's a watering down of what executive privilege is meant to be. But we got to get to the truth. The thing that's the thing that gets me is, never mind the reasoning for what they did. I'm not going into why people stormed the Capitol on January 6th. What I don't understand is, why aren't these people being why are they not being sentenced to years in prison? Years, not months, years. Let's say the people that actually went into the Capitol. They went to the Capitol, they knocked on doors, they broke down windows, they sat in the House or the Senate chambers. Those people should get decades. If you were walking through taking pictures when you weren't supposed to be there, you should get years. These people are getting months. I don't understand. Oh my God, go back and watch the video. Go back and watch the video. People actually, now I would submit to you this. They broke down windows, they broke down doors, they beat up Capitol police officers. Not everybody, but some of them beat up Capitol police officers. They pepper sprayed, they deer pissed, they did all kind of stuff, right? Once they got into that Capitol, they were so awed by the magnificence of the Capitol that they stood around taking pictures. Is that still a crime? Of course it is. Those people that stormed the Capitol should be given years in prison. The people that assaulted police, if the Republican Party, the GOP, conservative movement, whatever, MAGA supporters, if they're so for the police, why did they beat up police officers with flags supporting the police? I don't understand it, but Trump still has an out. I think he's still going to try to go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is going to make a decision. Now it's 6-3, conservative versus liberal judges. Now they all consider themselves judges and not quote unquote liberal or conservative, but we all know that 6 of the Supreme Court justices were appointed by Republican presidents, and there are 3 on the court right now that are still that were nominated by Democrat presidents. So it's 6-3. So if Trump tries to exert executive privilege, will they go in his favor? I don't know. But I think he has to do something before Friday, because the National Archives and Records Administration, they're going to release his stuff to the House committee. So who knows, man? This is crazy. I don't understand what. There's a lot of stuff I don't understand about this, but it's crazy. And you still got Republicans out there defending Trump. What's the day? Today is Veterans Day, I think, right? Special shout out to, give me a second. Special shout out to my brothers and sisters that served with me in the Marine Corps. Our birthday was yesterday. 246 years serving this country. Marine Corps was founded in 1775, November 10th, 1775, in Tunn's Tavern, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Captain Samuel Nichols was the first recruiter. Got some guys drunk, promised them a good time. He had them sign up. After the Revolutionary War, the Army, Navy, I think the military was disbanded to include the Marine Corps, but it was reestablished in 1798 by John Adams. And here we are, 200 and for a long time, July something, when it was reestablished, was considered the actual birth date. July 11th, I believe, was considered the actual birth date of the Marine Corps. But a general that was doing some research decided that no, it wasn't. That was a previous establishment back in November 10th, 1775 that November 10th should be the actual holiday. So November 10th is the actual holiday, and it coincides with today. So you got the 10th, Marine Corps birthday, and then you have the 11th, which is Veterans Day. So salute to all the veterans. Thank you for your service. And you know, this is a wild weekend for Marines. I know on Facebook, all my friends were posting old photos and just having a good time, saying, putting up old memes and everything. It's a great feeling to be a part of a club that's limited. I had a lot of people to doubt whether or not I can do it. You got to understand, I was a goofy kid. Surprised a lot of people that I did it, but I had some outstanding people to guide me through. One of the reasons why I made it through boot camp was because of my best friend. He was there with me. Shout out to Donnell. Love you, brother. And we went through a lot. We've been through a lot. And even though I was a pogue, I was a person other than a grunt, I still got it in, still had some good times, still had some bad times, but I learned a lot, and it made me a better person, made me a better person. So I'm grateful for my service, my 16 years in the Marine Corps. I'm grateful for it. I love it. Miss it. Would love to go back if my body was still up to it, but it is what it is. So, hey, happy belated birthday, Marines, and salute to all the veterans. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your continued service, and thank you for your past service. If you see a Marine, well, not just a Marine, if you see a veteran today, just go up to him and thank you for your service. You ain't got to shake his hand because of COVID, but give him a fist bump. Thank you for your service, or give him or her a fist bump. Thank you for your service, and let's because you never know what a person's going through. I was at my son's basketball game. Shout out to Brubaker Middle School. They won. The seventh graders are 2-0. But there was an older gentleman sitting on the bench, and he had a Vietnam veterans hat on. At the end of the game, I went up to him. I said, "Hey, I see you got a Vietnam veterans hat. I'm a retired Marine. Hey, thank you for your service." And he said, "Hey, thank you for your service." Hey, thank you. I stand on your shoulders, So enough of my rant, enough of my diatribe. Hey, you guys have a great, great Thursday, and I will see you guys on the next one. Yeah, I am out. You guys have a great, great day, okay? Y'all take care.